There was some top-notch football last night. And no, we're not talking about the Merseyside derby and all the shenanigans that were going on there in that game. We're talking about Manchester United's under-18s performance in the FA Youth Cup, and one man in particular, Chido Obi Martin, who keeps on going from strength to strength to strength. Another hat-trick for him in his academy career at Manchester United. Star performer last night as Manchester United smash the so-called second best or second most successful academy team in the country, 5-1. And it should have been even more. I said last night on last night's show that you need to watch this game. It was on MUTV. The quality that was in that Manchester United lineup last night was absolutely scandalous. It really was. Speaking of scandalous, man by name, Scanlon as well. James Scanlon, another player last night who got a couple of goals for Manchester United. Wow. If you didn't watch it, then you missed out. So go catch the reruns of that game. But one man is stealing all of the headlines again. Manchester United obviously need a striker. Really short in that department, as we know. Lack of goals is a massive issue for the football team right now, but we have options. We do have options. It may be a little too soon. He may not be fully developed already for the first team, but he is knocking on the door, and them knocks are becoming louder and louder and louder. With his 12th goal of the season in 9 performances in the under-18s this season now. Second hat-trick of the season as well. Only just starting to start games over the last 3 months from signing in the summer. Chido Obi Martin is the next best thing to come out of Manchester United's academy. He is showing why Manchester United spent all summer trying to steal him away from Arsenal, the fee that we paid for him and why we paid for him. He stands out above everybody else in that area of the pitch. There was a striker on the pitch last night for Chelsea who is supposedly the next best striker out there. His name eludes me again, and I apologise for that. I'm thinking of too many names right now with Manchester United side to remember from that performance last night, but there was only one star performer up front last night. And to be honest, Manchester United's whole under-18s team right now, if United nurture this team right, and they get the pathway for this team right, then wow, we are getting as close, and this is a bit of a statement in terms of talent all over the pitch. And we're talking centre-backs, we're talking central midfielders, we're talking 10s, we're talking wingers, we're talking 9s, we're talking talent all over this pitch. If I said to you, Chido Obi Martin at 9, Ibrahimoff at 10, Scanlon on the right or the left wing, you've got so many players there. You've got so many players there that can actually affect Manchester United's first team. In the next 4 to 5 years, we have a development pathway which really could, and we could see the benefits of very, very soon. I mean, Manchester United, the captain last night, Devaney himself, he went off with, I think it looked like cramp. Again, there's a number 6 right there waiting to happen. In front of him, you've got 19-year-old who couldn't play last night because he's just turned 19, Sekou Kone, who United have also brought into the side. Let's not forget about Gabe Bayankeri, who just came back for the first time last night after his injury and his hand injury. Ruben Amorim wanting intensity. Ruben Amorim wanting that extra drive, that extra little bit of zest. Watch how Bayankeri plays. Watch how he performs. Watch his game. Manchester United's press last night was the stuff of dreams. Manchester United's press in that game was something that this first team can't get anywhere near. The intensity, and yes, it's under 18s, but you can only move up at the levels that you are. And this is why I said at the start, maybe not this season, maybe not even next season, but if United get this crop of players right, 16, 17, 18-year-olds in this team, if we get this crop right and we nurture them and get the pathway to the first team right for these players, then we have got a crop to pick from and a half. Chelsea came into that game last night having smashed Leicester 7-1. They went in front last night and the United side just switched on to another level. The talent is ridiculous. I said it last night, just watch it. If you didn't, you made a big mistake because you've seen some of the best football that this club has played all season, and it is at 18s level. That's it. That's how poor we are in the first team. But the real chance for Manchester United is in the options we've got in this academy. And Chido Obi Martin, who came in, you've seen his Instagram post. He loves this football club. He feels like he has got his chance and his pathway is there. You can just tell by the way that he talks. You could tell by the way that he's enjoying his football last night. One of them strikers that looks like he's one of the selfish types of strikers, wants the goals. But you look at just reactions from these players. you look at what's being built, and again, I'm going to keep on saying it's just under 18s because I'm not getting carried away with myself, but you know where the talent starts. Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo came through into Manchester United's side at around 18 after great performances in the under-18s and an FA Youth Cup victory. United now have Arsenal away from home in the quarterfinals of the FA Youth Cup. That is the next round for Manchester United. So we'll see. Maybe we have got the next crop and the next development of Manchester United's academy players coming through and just being on the edge. But Chidowabi Martin there, you could just see when he went to celebrate with the right back Kamas. And by the way, another superb player in the making there for Manchester United. I said it, there's just too many to talk about. But Kamas, you could just see it with Bobby Martin. He went over to the player and celebrated with the player that created the chance. There's a striker who knows. There's a striker who appreciates what somebody has just done. And that, I feel, is a maturity in a younger player, which is beyond his years. You can get excited when you're at under 18 level, and we can get excited watching it. We can. I mean, to be honest, it's not hard to get excited about watching the under 18s at the moment, because let's be honest, the first team is just crap. So, really, we're going to take our kicks wherever we can in this football club. Obviously, United are not playing. A lot of the journalists that do follow Manchester United went to the game last night. I heard Samuel Luckhurst talking about it, Laurie Whitwell talking about it as well. Simon Stone from the BBC covers a lot of it as well from Manchester United's academy. So all of the big journalists were there last night, and everybody's starting to realise what Manchester United have got in this team. And I feel like if we do get it right, there is definitely something there behind the scenes that will save Manchester United not just a fortune on transfer fees, but could feed and be the future of this football club for the next decade on its own. We're talking 16, 17-year-olds here, yes. Probably in another 2 years we'll start to see where they really go, because this is the crucial stage right now, and where I said Manchester United need to nurture these players into Manchester United's first team. It cannot just be dumped in the mess and in a melee. But watching that system last night, watching how Lawrence organises his under-18s team, you just understand how Manchester United are working from the back to the first team. So from the 18s all the way through. The 18s are playing exactly how the first team want to play. And it's scary how they're getting it and how they're understanding it. And how Manchester United just don't have that intensity in their game at all. It's not like we've got an aging side in Manchester United. We're not playing the older players. How can we not be as intense as some of these under-18 players? As some of these under-18 players, by the way, are going to be playing in the under-21s game as well. And there's going to be another game this weekend on Saturday against Newcastle. Then there's an under-21s game against, I can't remember who it was now, actually, on Monday night. So 2 more games to come. These players are jumping from 18s to 21s and playing game after game after game. They're playing a lot. The fitness levels and the way that they play is outstanding, and I just wanted to, after all of the crap, after all of the negativity and everything that's going through Manchester United right now, make a big point out of this academy team right now and what potentially it has got. We're not even talking about the LaSalle and the ovaries that we also brought in this summer alongside Obi Martin and Sekou Kone. We've not even seen Aidan Heaven yet. He's an 18-year-old who's with the first team right now. This is how exciting it is. And when you add to that the likes of Dorgu, his physicality and what he's doing right now, you've got Mantato as well in the academy, another wing-back on the right-hand side that could push through and make his mark as well. Like we said, we didn't even see Goodwell Kakonke last night. This is how good this side is. This is how good this crop of players is right now. And if we do get it right, United are set up for the summer. When you look into the future of the football club and how we're actually going and the transfer windows and how Manchester United are set up and the likes of Quenda and what he's doing right now at Sporting. Apparently he has come out now and also said that he wants to move to Manchester United. His preference is United. So the player wants to come to United. Manchester United apparently have an agreement in place. A lot of reports coming from Portugal saying that this deal is done. That's a 17-year-old playing at the highest level also coming in to Manchester United as well. You can see why it is easy to think that United could go out and get the odd 1 or 2 players for bigger money just to add into this inexperienced younger side that we are developing from within. And obviously, like I said, these under-18 players are not going to come through this season. They're probably not going to be seen next season. Maybe we'll see how the pre-season goes, but there is a good crop of them that are going to be involved in United's pre-season, I feel. I think they're embarrassing the first team right now. They really are. I think if we put some of these players in, they wouldn't be able to handle the Premier League. No, I'm not getting ahead of myself. They're not. The development isn't there yet. We're being realistic with this. But what you've got to say is their attitude, intensity, and drive would embarrass Manchester United's first team play. And do you know what? They probably wouldn't do any worse than what Manchester United's first team 11 would be doing right now in the Premier League. That's the level of where we're playing at right now in the first team. Forget about the under-18s. They obviously are still a little bit away, but it's there. And it just gives us that little bit of hope in thinking that Manchester United have got something and we have got a little bit of a future. I'm going to come into the comments to see if anyone watched it before we move on to all other Manchester United news in a moment. But yeah, I could just feel like my excitement level actually picking up just because we're talking about Manchester United's academy players. Straight away, it feels like a massive positive. It just feels like this is something that we have got at this football club that is, I have to say, it's not tarnished with the same negative Manchester United brush. That's what it feels like at the moment. These youngsters are good and all, but I'd prefer we keep them far away from the Prats in the first team. I don't want them to inherit the toxicity, says David in the super chat. Yeah, I get that, and I think I've said that and alluded to that quite a few times before myself. I feel like right now Manchester United, I don't need to go into the academy. Give them the fresh start in the summer. Chido Martin, out of everybody, is a major option right now. He is a major option right now for Manchester United. And like we've said before, we have got a player there that's knocking on the door, that is there for Manchester United if Ruben Amorim wants him to come through and put him in that first team. I mean, what's he going to do this season? What we have to be realistic with, is this first team now good enough to pick up a trophy and get us into Europe, either the FA Cup or the Europa League? We don't know. We've done it before. We've turned up for odd games and we've won cups. We've done it in the last 2 seasons when we've been really poor. So it is there and we can do it. So do we just leave the academy players out of this now for the season? Or do we bring in Obi Martin into this Amorim setup right now? I mean, his mate, who he knows from Arsenal in Aidan Heaven, is in the first team squad right now. Obviously, you've got other youngsters there as well. So it's not like it's all like really old players. I just feel like he's not going to make too much of a difference. And what difference is it going to make from finishing 13th and 10th for Manchester United? Because that's where we're going to finish. In the bigger picture, it's not going to make a difference if someone comes in now, because he's not going to obviously just tear it up. He's going to need time to get into the team. And I understand the clamour to bring someone like Obi Martin through into Manchester United's first team squad. But still, it's not going to make too much of a difference in the league position. Maybe something in the cup. Maybe have him on the bench in one of the cup games. You've got extra space in the Europa League games. Maybe that's where we need to be bringing Obi Martin in to Manchester United's side. Maybe that's why I think Ruben Amorim is resisting the opportunity to bring Obi Martin through into Manchester United's first team 11. We will see as it goes through the season and how we develop and how the season goes on. But still, with Manchester United, I just look at it now and go, there isn't much change going to happen because a couple of academy players come through. There probably wasn't going to be much change happen if we brought in a couple of signings and brought in a striker in the transfer window. The team is still not playing right and fluid enough for any individual to come into it and make that much of a difference. It needs a full restructure pre-season, everybody on the same page and starting from a fresh, I think, to see proper Ruben Amorim tactics really take a hold of Manchester United. I think that's what we've got to wait for now. I think that's what we've got to hope we can get the best out of in pre-season. I think with other players moving out, I think with other players coming in, like we said, with a big transfer window and then hitting the ground running next season, I think this is where the opportunities come around. And you would like to see academy players coming into a more fluid, well-run football team and one that is actually progressing. Do you know what I mean? I think right now you could derail Chido Obi Martin completely by bringing him in. He could just go straight into that toxic atmosphere and bang, bang, bang. He just completely goes off and he loses confidence and loses what he's building right now. And this is what I said at the top of the show. You have to make sure that the environment is, first of all, the right one to bring an academy player through. Secondly, you have to make sure that the system is right and is perfectly set up for that academy player to come through. We need to be in form. We need to have other players around that are actually working and understanding of the system right now, because you've got an academy player coming through possibly at 17 he's got to get to grips with not just the Premier League, the physicality of first team football at the highest level, which the Premier League is, and then deal with other players, senior players who he would look to for inspiration, also failing in that system right now. It's not right. It isn't right. And you know, I said it a minute ago then, Ruben will be looking at this and thinking this way. He will be thinking, look, I want to, but I don't think it's the right time. I don't. Maybe he will bring him in. Maybe he will. He's done it before. I mean, we've seen it with players that United are looking to bring in now, in Nuno Mendes and in Giovanni Quenda. He's brought them players through. He obviously nursed Gyökeres into first team football and top level football from the Championship. He has got that there, but I think there was a lot more going right for him at the time when them players were being brought through. There wasn't as much scrutiny and there wasn't as much criticism and there wasn't as much carnage going on behind the scenes as there is right now. I'm thinking keeping the academy players away from the first team at the moment is probably a good thing for Manchester United's young players and young prospects. What we can get excited about is the future and where these players are going to be in a few years' time. And the fact that they're not going to cost us anything, and we are going to be feeding that first team with our own talent and finding, like, I don't want to mention his name right now because it is it is the name that's at the top of everybody's hate list. But like Sir Jim Radcliffe said in his interview, we want to discover the next Mbappe. We don't want to buy the Mbappe. And I'm not saying that Chido Martin is Mbappe, far from it. But you know what? Chido Martin is just one of a few. And like I said there, Manchester United right now have a crop of youngsters, including Chido, who are really just on the cusp and just waiting for that opportunity. And I just look at that and go, right, 2 or 3 years down the line, at least we've got options. At least we've got options, and we know exactly what we can be looking for in transfer markets. In 2 years' time, we'll know if these players have made that next 2-year step up, and that's the important one. So I think that's what we've got to look at with this. I think this is where United's development side of things has to, the recruitment side has to look at. It's like Jason Wilcox and Christopher Vivel were both at that game last night. They'll be looking at the Fletcher twins. They'll be looking at Tyler and Jack Fletcher in midfield. They'll be looking at Kamasin at right back and what he's doing right now and what Manchester United need. In central midfield there, you've now got Sekou Kone coming through at 19, who didn't play last night. And then you've also got Devaney as well, who's just come back from injury, who was absolutely outstanding last night, by the way. Brian Kerry, Obi Martin, Scanlon. And then you look to the bench. You've got Musa, who's off the back of a double at weekend against Liverpool. You've got Thwaites, you've got Ibrahimov, like I said, you've got Godwill Kakonke, you've got Fitzgerald. These players are outstanding at their level right now. Can we keep them there, and can we nurture them into that first team in a couple of years' time, maybe, to be the next players in at Manchester United? All I'm saying is, from last night and from what we developed from last season, the players we've added in, and let's not forget, we haven't even seen much of LaSalle, who we bought in the summer. We haven't seen much of James over at Eva, who we've seen in the summer. 16, 17, more quality there. Obviously, like we're doing as well, we're bringing in the likes of Leon, who's another 17-year-old just turning 18. Obviously, Dorgu 20, Aiden Heaven 18. There is a lot coming through. When you look at 18-year-old Leon, first team experience, Heaven, who's just about on the cusp of first team experience. You're looking at players like that. And then you've got Harry Amass as well, who played well last night. He was excellent going forward. But honestly, with Amass right now, defensively, I'm not too convinced. Going forward, I think he's excellent. I think he is a proper wing-back type player. But when you look at all of that, when you look at what Manchester United have got there, they have got players like the academy players we just mentioned, then added to a team with the likes of now Kone at 19 coming in, 18-year-old Leon coming in. These players now, Aiden Heaven, they're just like that step up ahead. So you've got your 18 and 19-year-olds, then you've got your 16 and 17-year-olds. In 2 years' time, you should have a mature Aiden Heaven, Leon, even for the likes of Dorgu, just turning 22 at that point. And let's not forget, you've got Kobe Mainu right now and Garnacho, who are only going to be still in their early 20s when these guys are coming of age at around 18 and 19. So you can see the development pathway. You can see the conveyor belt of talent going down and down and down in age groups for Manchester United, which I think is more important. You've got it all the way from 16 all the way up to 20, 21, 22 right now. Just get it right. There's no excuse for not getting it right. This is loans now for these players. This is getting them out to the right clubs for loans as well, getting the right first team experience. Maybe Manchester United is not the right place for these players to be right now. Maybe Manchester United isn't the right place for bringing players through at this stage. But loans are very important, and pre-season is going to be absolutely huge for Manchester United. I'm not going to say that we're not going to go out and actually spend absolute roosters, because I still expect United to go out and spend an awful lot of money this summer. But when you're looking at what's coming through the academy in years to come, I think the comments that were made in the area of Manchester United are not going to be doing rebuilds at plus 200 million every single summer, I think them words actually are true. I think right now Manchester United are in a place where in 2 or 3 years' time, we won't be spending money. We'll be back to what we was doing, where we're just getting 1 or 2 players in. With the recruitment structure that's in place right now, I just feel like United are that team again that we could probably look at and think, right, okay, we don't need to be going out and buying stupid marquee players on stupid amounts of money. I just look at it and go, okay, structure in place, youth team in place, develop them, pick off the odd bit of talent here and there in windows, and let's start getting up. Let's start getting up them tables. Let's start competing at the Champions League level, and let's start feeding our own first team with our own talent again. Because that's something that United have always done. But we've always had somewhere for that team to go into, and we've always had a first team performing at a certain level to integrate these players properly. Not like we've done with Mainu, not like we've done with Garnacho and the criticism that's coming their way right now. It shouldn't be where it is for them two right now. And the desperation of bringing them 2 players in, and yes, they've done well and deserve their place in the side, you probably should be saying they shouldn't have been playing the amount of games that they have been playing. They shouldn't. You add to that the likes of Rasmus Højlund coming in at 2021 and being thrust into the limelight and saying, go score all of Man United's goals as you're now top number 9. It's just been utter bedlam at Manchester United. It really has. And it isn't fair on these younger players. So I love the thought of Bobby Martin being there and being there in an opportunity, possibly breaking in. But I just want it to be handled the right way. I think that's what's important right now. Anyway, let's get into the chat and let's see what you're all saying on this. I've gone on long enough there. Please give the video a like, everybody. Let's get that up past that 200 mark. Get your comments in. Please subscribe to Forever United TV if you want to be part of the live chat, everybody, as well. There isn't much going on with the first team at the moment, news-wise, which is good. It can only be good because that way we just need to, we need to concentrate on other things. And luckily for us, we have got the positives of the under-18s and the academy, like I just said. I'm looking ahead to the future. I want to try and ignore what's going on right now. Yeah, it will be back later, and it will take a hold of me. But still, right now, I'm choosing to look at a positive rather than an absolute negative, which is everything else at this football club. Let's see what we've got. Let's scroll back up again because there's quite a lot coming through. Adam, I'm wondering if Ruben is worried that if he brings Obi Martin in, he will upstage Rasmus or Xerxes. I don't think he's bothered because he didn't buy them players, mate. I really don't. Football Red Devil says, fans who say that apparently being pragmatic complain about transfer fees. Hamas does not stand out at that level. and he really looks small even in that category. He needs to go out on loan to see if he can handle first-team football at Championship or League level. I think this is why Manchester United brought in the likes of Leon and Dorgu. Physical specimens, well-built players. Yes, young, but still, you look at them players and go, they look like they're ready for first-team football. Amas is built. I mean, Amas is like stocky enough, but you're right, he does need to go out on loan. Interesting how Manchester United couldn't find the right loan deal for Amas this summer. That is a little bit disappointing as well, that we didn't manage to get a few more players out on loan. Natasha says there is a good few players in that team. There's a lot of good players in that team. We blooded Garnacho and Maino, so why not other academy players? We got nothing to lose. Let's try something different. Yeah, but we don't want to ruin their development by throwing them into the absolute melee, which I just said is the first team. We just got to be careful. It has to be right. Look, some of them and most of them are training with the first team anyway, so they're getting used to being around the first team players, which I think is important. I think that is where Manchester United are at right now. I think we are doing it the right way. We are just bringing them through at about the right time, I would say. Bring him in with this bunch of losers. Bring around these players is not being around these players is not a good thing. These players are cooked. They are just lazy and not good enough. We need a massive change in the summer. We do. We do need a huge change in the summer, and it's coming. Highland and Xerxes are currently doing nothing. Why not try something different? I mean, Xerxes scored on last Friday, so he's doing something. I know what we're saying. They're not, but I still feel like we need to try something with Xerxes and maybe even Rasmus Højlund together. I think there is still a blend there that will work for Manchester United with the teams and with the team that we've got, but I just don't think we've got enough time this season to get most out of it, and that's when obviously the obvious changes are going to come in the summer, I feel. Martin is on a different level than most of the first team. Martin is a winner. Don't put Martin in with these losers. I mean, Chidowabi he does look like a natural goal scorer, doesn't he? That's one thing. He's always in the right place, and that's something that you cannot coach. He's just naturally gifted. He's strong, he's quick, and he finishes. He finishes well, and it's no surprise he is the record goal scorer in the Premier League era at under 18 level. And let's not forget, he's only just turned 17. 17 now. So when this lad is 18, he should be knocking on Manchester United's first team door. He should be. Do we send someone like that out on loan? Or does he come into Manchester United's first team? That's the question. We have got a poll running right now. If you were Ruben, would you give OBI a chance in the first team? 73% of you have said yes, you would give OBI a chance in the first team. I think we are just kind of desperate at the moment for anything. It really is. Chido becoming a first team player before he solidifies himself is the same mistake we did with Rashford. Also, this nonsense of national call-ups so early. Let's see what else we've got in here as well. The club needs to stop giving bang average players mega deals. I think that will stop, Stephen. I think it has stopped as well. I think we made a mark in the summer and we definitely set the standard going forward, I think, with that last transfer window. I think that is something that we are going to be, I think, right on top of going forward right now. And I'm not concerned about players ever getting mega deals again. You've seen how tight Ineos are and what they're doing. Nobody is going to be able to complain about players being on absolute mega bucks and stupid contracts anymore. Going forward anyway. We still have to wean out quite a few of the others. But still, I think going forward, them days are gone. Which is a positive again. It is a positive. Brian Sheeny says, cheers for the heads up on the under-18s match yesterday, Adam. I was thrilled to see that Scanlon diving header and the hat-trick. What I love about this channel is a connection with proper local fans. Fans from all over the world as well as the local fans, Brian, mate. That's what it's for. I found out that game was on last night and I was just pleading with everyone in the show just to watch it because there is and I think everybody's seen last night the talent that Manchester United have got, and something to look forward to. Like I said, like it's not now, it isn't now, and I'm not getting excited about the next year with these players. But in 2 or 3 years' time, that crop of players could be absolutely massive for Manchester United. It could be the difference for Manchester United challenging for the Premier League. That's what that crop of players is. So in 2028, the so-called Mission 21, when United should be winning that league, according to Omar Barados, Dave Brailsford, everyone involved in Manchester United right now, I think this crop of players will have a say in that season. I think that's how important they are. So where United are now looking at the next few transfer windows and how important they are in getting the players in, you're talking about strength and depth. You're talking about Manchester United's squad right now. When you look to the bench, you're like, oh, God, Anthony. Or you've got an aging Casemiro who can't kick it. You've got Lindelof, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount. You've got all of them players there, and we're all hating on them players. They've got loads of money. They're not doing nothing. I mean, you look at Luke Shaw, you look at Mason Mount, you look at Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, Victor Lindelof. You're looking at all of them players, 5 first-team full internationals, doing jack shit on over £1 million a week pretty much, all combined. Anthony as well. You could have had Rashford to that as well. There's 7 first-team players there this season that have been sat there doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then you look to Manchester United and you look into the future. That's the problem now. That's what Manchester United are dealing with right now. So let's have a look into the future. And let's just, for instance, look at what we were dealing with last night at Manchester United's academy. These 16, 17-year-olds that were playing last night, some 18-year-olds, when you look at it and you go, okay, so for Luke Shaw, you could have the likes of, just for instance, Diego Leon sat there with Dorgu playing in the game. That's the guy on the bench. You could have, in terms of strikers, you could have Chidowabi there. You could have Bayern Kerry there. Midfield, you could have Thwaites. You could have one of the Fletcher brothers. You could have Scanlon on the wing there. You could have Devaney there. Kakonki could be there. You could have Heaven there. You could have Kone there. That's the team for that. So United do need to buy, I think, probably 5 proper first-team players to go right into the starting 11. Then let's get rid of the crap. And then let's start promoting the youth into them bench positions to start playing and filling the gaps when needed. The squad should be United's youth team academy players that have come through. That's the squad, not first team. They need to earn their right into that. But like I said before, the first team needs to be playing well and needs to be an understanding at least of what the coach wants before these academy players come in, because they're going to have to help these academy players. And at the moment, I can completely see where Ruben is going with this, and I completely understand why there isn't any of Manchester United's academy players breaking into this first team just yet. You look at the likes of Kobbie Mainoo, Garnacho, Toby Collier right now in this Manchester United first team 11, all brought through. And now all the positives that United are talking about, yet they're all in bad form because this club has fallen off a cliff in terms of how it's actually organised and what it's actually doing right now. It's not fair on these players. So let's not make the same mistake again, and let's make sure that, you know what, when we do go into that so-called 2028 season, that these are the players that are coming through for Manchester United then. Not the crap, and not overpaid players, not overpaid prima donnas, injury-prone players, or poor recruited players. It needs to be players that understand what's needed and are hungry and ready to come through. We just haven't got the balance right. We never have at Manchester United over the last 10 years. And we've forgotten about what it is to bring certain academy players through. Yeah, there have been some. You could talk about Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford. Rashford was lucky to get his break and he took his chance. But then he was propelled to stardom within a poorly run football club and a shocking recruitment section at Manchester United. And nobody can say that that isn't the case. It really is. With Marcus Rashford, he is an example of how poorly this football club has been run and what we shouldn't do. And right now we've got an opportunity on our hands to make sure that that does not happen again. And I just hope that these players are in and around Manchester United come 2027-28. That's what's needed. And I think that's where United need to be looking. Look, that is the show this morning. Something a little bit different, just for you all to get your opinions in. I just want you to give me, because I've not had a chance to get through much of the live chat, because I just wanted to get all of that out there. Where is this team for you? Where is this academy team for you? Who do you see breaking through? How long do you think it's going to take for these players to come through? Get your comments in below after the live has finished. We're going to finish up there, everybody. I have a few things to do this morning, but I will be back throughout the day if anything does break. Obviously, now looking ahead to the weekend and the football is back. It's been a nice little break, but now we're starting heading into that direction, and Spurs this weekend and how important it is. And sadly, we have to talk about that first team again. Let's see if they can convince us that they are up for the fight for the rest of this season. Having had a nice break. A very nice break, actually. What was it? 9 days since we played our last game? Wow. Okay. That is it for now, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. All contributions, mods and members helping out as always. All your comments were bang on the money. Please give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. And I will see you all later on. Have a great day.